Have you ever said to yourself that you really think you are absolutely weak because of the way you self-sabotage every time you try to put something healthy, a habit or pattern in place? Have you ever said that to yourself? If you have, this is for you because you're not weak at all. In fact, you're one of the strongest people I know. It's just that you were conditioned to place your needs, your wants, your desires over to the side so you could carry the emotional baggage for somebody else. Yeah, that takes a lot of strength to be able to do for others. And your self-sabotage is simply a system, it's a symptom, it's a byproduct. It is a system of you getting those needs, wants, and desires met, but in a way that's dysfunctional. So what is it that we need to do? Well, look at what you were conditioned to do. Were you conditioned to overperform to the point that you're going to be absolutely exhausted? Your system has been trained to be absolutely on point and high alert. Hypervigilance instead of hyper awareness, hypervigilance at all times. And so you will sabotage to try to calm yourself down. A great example of this is food. If you overeat, you'll turn to those empty carbs because they have a calming effect. The pastas, the breads, the chips. You will use money to buy things for other people because that's what you've been taught to do, is overperform. You will carry their financial freak-ups at your expense. Your relationships will be one to where you feel like you're always having to earn the right to be in their life. So what is it that you can do? And a lot of times this is happening subconsciously. You're not even realizing it. You just know that you feel like you're on high alert and you're exhausted both at the same time. Now, there's another type, and this is when you're in avoidance. You don't want to get too close to people because you know they're going to hurt you. And so you will look for connecting to others through problems. A great example of this was a family member that I had called. This was quite some time ago, and I'm like, hey, we've got a really big challenge here that we're going to need to work on together. And they went into, oh my gosh, I can't deal with that because I have got this relationship that's absolutely falling apart. They totally went into avoidance because they were saying, please, can you see me? And I don't know how to connect unless I'm having multiple dramas going on. And so they'll do that primarily through relationships, but it can also show up with health because the avoidance is all about suppression. And the body, well, it keeps score and it bears the brunt. Now, all of a sudden, we have something that shows up to where you actually have to let people in, which is the very thing that you don't want to do. And so what will you do with money? You'll avoid looking at those bills. You'll just charge and charge and charge until you're in crisis mode. So overperformance does everything to try to avoid the crisis, but it's the very thing that will cause a crisis through the exhaustion. And avoidance always seems to be in a crisis. And the very thing that they want is saying, oh my gosh, please teach me how to connect without having all these problems. And both of them can be a result of the people that you had to carry in your life because they took the best parts of you and they weaponized it and they used it against you. So what is it that we need to do? Well, the first thing that I do is the 4 R's in hypnosis: reveal, release, relearn, rejoice. Reveal the aspect of your personality that thought that they had to carry others at the expense of themselves. Release it from that contract. Relearn is where discover what it really was supposed to be engaged in. There was something magnificent and brilliant about you that is still waiting to be birthed, as well as revealing, bringing out your wise woman or your wise man, the other side of what was put there, and put it in charge of being able to carry your emotional load, and then rejoice. The past you, the future you, all come together in the gift of today. So, what is it that you can begin to do starting right away? Well, stop the self sabotage. You're going to have to stabilize your body. It's what's known as bottom up. Breathing exercises, you can look them up. Psychological sighing, as well as 4x4 breathing. You also want to see about putting boundaries in place. The number one reason for boundaries is to keep you safe. Boundaries are not used to punish someone else. That's not a boundary. A boundary says, oh, these are the things that can cause me problems. And so I need to be able to step back into an observer role instead of subjective, where I'm consistently experiencing. I need to be able to step back and see if I can continue to do it this way. Am I going to continue to get the same results? Then working with a mentor, whether it's me or someone else, you need to discover what's unique about you in your story and the actions you can take to bring out that brilliance. You have been so focused and so programmed to take care of others at your expense that it is hard to see how you can use that experience to bring out your brilliance. Somebody else was engaged in hurting you. Somebody else needs to be engaged in giving that pain a purpose for progress. If you could do it all on your own, you would already have it. Okay, so why do you self sabotage? It's simply a byproduct. It's a part of you going, oh, this is what I was programmed and conditioned to do. Or it's a part of you saying, it's the only way I can get my needs met, to be able to calm myself down from overperformance or connecting to others through crisis, because it's the only way I know how to let somebody in. It's not your fault, but you have to take 100% responsibility for being able to move forward. So you can do this. I believe in you. But until you can believe in yourself, you're going to need to borrow somebody else's belief. Who are you going to allow in to help you achieve more of who you really are at your healthiest?